listening to Fighting Game Follies.
It's the #1 podcast for low-level player opinions.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Round 1.
Hello to all my masters, grapplers, and set play psychopaths, Wi-Fi warriors, O2ers, tournament organizers, and everyone else in the entire FGC scope and spectrum. Here's your boy Grief for Games, Skyward Games at PNG, whatever I'm going by for this week's tournament one. And welcome back to another episode of the Fighting Game Follies podcast. You already know we're back at it. Took a week off because the day that I was going to record, a lot of news came out. But it's news that honestly I feel like is better off knowing the fact that I didn't record and I had more time to compile my thoughts and everything, because with said news actually coming out, I can now officially say that we, the people, the fighting game community, the FGC, are now officially in the new golden age of fighting games. Now, for all my youngins out there, I can't even speak because I am still relatively a youngin, I guess, in the grander scheme of things. But to all the youngins out there, y'all are probably wondering, oh, well, since we're in the new golden age of fighting games, what was the old golden age of fighting games? And obviously that was the arcade renaissance era. That was the era in the 90s, the early to mid 90s, where the arcades were booming and the fighting games in general were just if you wanted to have a really good fighting game experience, you would go to an arcade, and then you that. I can't really speak on it because it's before my time, but seeing all of the videos and all of everything just about it, all of the stuff that all of the media that came from said era, it's completely different. The energy and everything about it is completely different, and now that's been able to sort of resurge in a new form of light, in the new modern day era, with the content and everything that we're getting for this time. And just in general, the pillars for the new golden age of fighting game right now, it's always been Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken. Those three are probably the three that have always been the pillars of fighting games, and now since all three of them are presumably coming out and around the same time, we're waiting on some news for Tekken 8, but still, I digress. It's going to be coming out probably either this year or early to mid next year. So with all of them coming out in the 2023 to 2024 scope, it's now given way to there's a lot of fighting games coming. There's a lot of good fighting games coming out, and there's a lot of really good stuff that we're able to just play and check out. And there's a lot of things that we can actually go and see and do, and just there's a lot of content that we can engage in. So I'm sort of jumping the gun here in terms of just getting that little introduction and everything out of the way, but sit back, relax. I'm going to spew on for however long I spew on about all of the games that I'm really excited for, or what I would like to see for these games, and what I'm really excited for and what I'm looking forward to. And yeah, I guess we should just get it underway and talk about the first thing that I'm not really excited for, nor do I really care about. And that is going to be Mortal Kombat 12, technically Mortal Kombat 1. I really don't care for Mortal Kombat all too much. I was never really a fan of Mortal Kombat. The only one that I want to say enjoyed is 10, and that's really it. But Mortal Kombat, it's not really my cup of tea. Plus, on top of that, from my knowledge, they do a reboot around every half decade or so. I don't know the specifics of it, but they do reboots almost every time. This doesn't really seem like it's anything out of the ordinary. It's just another reboot happening, but instead of it being Raiden that's doing the reboot, it is Liu Kang who is initiating the reboot. Which once again I really don't care about all too much. It's just a change in power, but it's still the same character. So there's that. I did talk to a couple of people about everything that was happening in terms of the reboot and whatnot and what's happening. There's a stress test that's going to be dropping soon, so for those who want to actually try and play the game and test out the servers, I'll leave a link in the description for that. I'll also leave a link for the trailer as well, because that is some very important news. And let me actually talk about the trailer a tiny bit here. There's a lot. It's it's still the same. It's still the same, but slightly different. It seems it has a more realistic art style to sort of what all of the other stuff has been going for in this time. It's very detailed. It's very graphic, especially with a game with or like Mortal Kombat. you would want your game to be very detailed and graphic because when its main appeal is gore and it has like weird cartoonish gore, I feel like that's sort of be like a mismatch of ideals. But whatever. Game, I'm not even gonna lie, game looks really good. If it's anything, or if going off of what the other trailers from like Mortal Kombat 10, Mortal Kombat 11 gave us, then in this game is going to look really well on drop, which I'm not even like surprised about. A lot of like with the tech that we have now, a lot of games are coming out looking really good. Everything's coming out the oven looking really nice, really pristine, just all really good stuff. So overall, it looks good. All the characters, tiny bit different, still in their same like scope and veins and everything. Nothing really too like out of the ordinary. Nothing like crazy or unfamiliar. Melina still has her really weird like human eating jaw. I think Kung Lao, the dude with the hat still has the hat. Characters are recognizable. Everybody still is doing what they do. It's just that now it's a time of peace and prosperity that's going to be interrupted because a new wormhole portal thing has been opened, and apparently that wormhole portal is going to have like Homelander and Peacemaker and Omni Man, which yippee. There's also going to be a new variants or not variants because that's not the word. I think they called it cameos, which Mortal Kombat's bringing in assist, which is kind of cool. So I guess we can actually see Ed Boon take a tiny bit of inspiration from somewhat more traditional fighting games in the scope of like maybe a team-based fighting game. Obviously, the assist characters aren't, or yeah, to my knowledge, the assist characters aren't going to be like fully playable characters, and the fully playable characters aren't going to be assist characters. I think, to my knowledge, it should be, or actually no, because I know a Naruto Storm game does something like that, where it's like like it's the playable cast and then the cast that can only be used as assist, which I kind of like, but I also don't like for obvious reasons. You have more characters, you have more move sets and everything, and like if it's very decisive if you're able to split the bill and be like, oh, if we have this character and then we can make them like have a really, or if we have an idea for a really unique move set, or if we have this character but it's like a clone or something, and then it's just gonna be like it's a very slippery slope in terms of doing it right. So, depending on the cast that they actually have for the cameo system, and even if it's going to be like specifically in universe Mortal Kombat characters, or if it's going to be just all um like out of universe characters, like how I just said, Homelander, Omni Man, etc., etc. If those are the ones that are going to be the cameos, and it's just going to be like all base roster stuff, then I feel like that's going to be kind of like not fun, I guess, because I feel like outside of the gore aspect of it, I feel like another really big thing that Mortal Kombat does, I guess, relatively well is what I'll say. Like another thing Mortal Kombat does really well, and which I also think Tekken does as well, which is really good, is its DLC cameos and everything. Like the guest characters and like who they bring in. I feel like Mortal Kombat is more known for this because it's had a really good like 2 game streak. I think there's DLC in 9, I don't even remember. But from 10 and 11, it's had a really good streak of just bringing in like just completely out of left field characters that like nobody really expects. Like if I can remember off the top of my head, guest characters for 10, it was the Xenomorph or yeah, Xenomorph, Jason, Leatherface, and there's one more. I know that there's one more, and I'm uh I don't remember. I know that like Xenomorph or the Xenomorph, Jason, Leatherface, and somebody else, because I don't remember the entire DLC lineup. And I'm looking this up. And I'm about to look this up and be like, oh, how did I not remember it was this character? Um, DLC X. Let's see. Who was in the DLC pack for X? Was it only those three that were like the guest characters? No, there's no way. It couldn't have been. I swear it's somebody else. Yeah, because DLC Pack 2, it only has Cyborg. Yeah, the Cyborg dude, Leatherface, the Xenomorph, Baraicho. I remember Baraicho. I don't know why. I just really remembered Baraicho for some reason. And then who's in the original pack? The Combat Pack. Um, or yeah, Triborg. That was bro's name. Uh, Tanya, no. Predator, that's who. It was the Predator that was okay. Yeah, Jason, Predator, Alien, and Leatherface. That who. All right, that's who the other like really big character was. But Mortal Kombat, it does DLC very well. I'm not gonna talk about the 11 DLC, or actually no, I am a tiny bit because it has like Rambo and RoboCop and the Joker, which is very like wild. But also it sort of makes sense because like if I'm not mistaken, Injustice also brought in like Sub-Zero and Raiden, so little NRS like cross-referencing stuff. But I digress. Um, I just don't really care all too much for like Mortal Kombat as a game series. It's partly in fact because it's so like not so different, but like it's very different from the traditional fighting games. The block, like it has its block button. It's like command inputs are like kind of weirder. I haven't played Mortal Kombat in like a good while. I used to go hard on X, and then I was a Johnny Cage Sub-Zero main baby. Um, I went like really hard on X, and then completely skipped 11 because it felt sort of like more. Well, I just didn't really like the way that the story was going for going in from 10 to 11 because I thought 10 did a lot of really good things for a lot of really good characters. It did sort of like do a tiny bit more for other characters, like it because I think I mentioned this. I either mentioned this in another episode or I talked about it with someone else, but I really liked the dynamic that was sort of forming between Sub-Zero and Kuai Liang. I'm kind of surprised I remember his name. Kuai Liang being the Sub-Zero that was before the one that Scorpion killed in Mortal Kombat 9, which was Bihan, if I'm not mistaken. And I really like the relationship that they were sort of like starting to get because they were both maturing as people and like working together and being cool, and I like that a lot. And then the reboot happened, and they were still working together, being cool and whatnot. But like now that a reboot's happened again, I'm sort of expecting it to go back to that. Oh, I hate you. Let's kill each other dynamic, which I'm not really a fan of. I liked it more when their characters were less of a dichotomy of like fire and ice and more of like, oh, we're just two guys in very like messed up situations and trying to make like the most out of it. And then one action is it like gang violence, bringing two brothers together, not actual brothers, but like. I think I'm getting my point across. I don't know if I am. This is probably gonna fall flat. But I'm not really looking forward to Mortal Kombat all too much. A couple of people in my circle are going to play it, so depending on how many people buy it, I might buy it, I might not. I'm very much indifferent towards it. I don't like specifically hate it. I'm just indifferent. Uh, I am going to, however, like keep up with it. Obviously, I'm going to like still do my research, make sure everything is like up to snuff, let you guys in on all of the important things that's happening with the game, and I'll try and like keep everyone here updated on what's like going to happen. But yeah, I just really don't care all that much about Mortal Kombat. Like, it's not that it's not good, it's just that it doesn't appeal to me, but it still very much is a big pillar in the FGC, obviously, and it is like the first of the three parts that are going to actually be making up this new golden age of fighting games. Actually, really quickly, let me see. When is Mortal Kombat 1, which I just really don't like that name. Um, Mortal Kombat 1. When is... Ah, let me actually see. When is this game supposed to be dropping? Okay, no, because this is the stress test thing that I was talking about earlier. I'll be sure to link this, and then I'll be sure to link like the I'll be sure to also link the trailer video on top of that as well. Yeah, yeah, it's dropping September 19th. I was about to say it was either the 19th or like the 27th. I knew it was around this time span though. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 dropping September 19th this year, which is actually really crazy. I think is like kind of wild. Even Street Fighter 6, which I think is like probably the biggest one that I'm really looking forward to talking about. It had like a year and change to like still do its developmental stuff. So they're probably going to be pushing out a lot of content like really quickly, which means I get to talk about a lot of stuff. Yippee! But yeah, I'll keep you guys in the loop. I'll keep you guys like. Oh wait, what? Hold up. They're actually. Oh, they're cool. Wait, Sub-Zero and Scorpion are cool, and they're both human. Oh wait, I might have to. Oh no, wait. This is talking about the cameo fighters thing. Ooh, that's not a good look. I'm kind of scared now. I don't think they're gonna make them like cameo specific characters, but that kind of frightens me. Oh well. I'll do more research into this later when like more info and everything drops. The fact that this is dropping on Steam, or not Steam, the fact that this is dropping on Switch is about to make that thing a bomb. I thought security breach was going to be the thing that like blows it up, but Jesus, no. But I'm not really looking forward to it, I guess, but look forward to me covering more Mortal Kombat 1, I guess. I might cover it, I might not. Who knows? Just know I'm most likely going to have to talk about it eventually. So be on the lookout for that. It might get its own specific episode. Who knows? Woo, yippee. But yeah, another big pillar in the FGC, like I said before, this is going to be part one of three on why, like, we're in the new golden age of fighting games, as this is a big deal. Like, if you're not a Street Fighter fan and you're not a Tekken fan, you're a Mortal Kombat fan. It's like you're one or the other. Like, obviously you can be both or all three, but like if you're into fighting or like the anime community, I guess, but like oh well, they're more of a like offshoot of like traditional 2Ds, which like Street Fighter 2 paved. But if you're not a Street Fighter fan, you're a Tekken fan. If you're not a Tekken fan, you're a Mortal Kombat fan. And if you're not a Mortal Kombat fan, you're a Street Fighter fan. And it's that trinity right there that made up fighting games back in the day. And this is like I've been reiterating. This is part one of three on the new golden age of fighting games and the new stuff that we as a community are going to be given, or what we're going to be getting our hands on like soon.
Round two.
So next up, in terms of fight or like the other pillar, the new golden age standard of fighting games that I actually want to really talk about, and the one that I'm way more interested in rather than Mortal Kombat is obviously Tekken 8. Now, I don't have a huge background in Tekken. I don't have a huge background in 3D fighters to begin with, but I did play a tiny bit of Tekken 7, like very much in its tail end life, because it was on Xbox Game Pass, and I was like, I'm gonna actually try this out for once. It didn't 100% jive with me, but I did still have a lot of fun, and I still do want to try this out and see what is actually going to be in store with the entirety of the new Tekken franchise and or like with the new Tekken game and how the franchise is going to move forward, especially since this game is going to, obviously be more technically advanced and everything with things like rollback and whatnot, which was very much something that was holding back Tekken 7 to truly being great in its later end years. But I digress. My only big issue with Tekken 8 is the fact of it being way more aggression focused, and I feel like it would benefit way more if it took like maybe one or two steps back and maybe looked a tiny bit at SF6 and actually see what it's doing with its whole drive rush system. Like how because I think I did mention it before when we actually got the initial announcement for Tekken 8 with all of the extra news that came with it. But I feel like me personally, I feel like the game is way too, from what we've seen, it's way too fast paced and it's way too aggressive and everything to really uh there's no back and forth. There's none of the actual back and forth that is, normally apparent with a fighting game. It just seems like it's more of a, okay, let's see who can get steamrolled first, and then whoever gets steamrolled first, obviously loses, and whoever the steamroller is, they just win that engagement or whatever, which I feel like is very much kind of not, obviously not like, oh, that's what Tekken is, but with Tekken being a very um snowbally game, in my opinion. Like, all it really takes for you is to get one or two really good reads, and then like that's sort of the game. Especially if you look at players like Lil Majin, who plays like King. It takes him, like, on a good run, it takes him like probably 1 to 3 really good reads or something, and then that's like the round. And then he does that like once or twice, and then boom, that's like the entire game. But I am still really interested and just overall hyped for Tekken 8. I just feel like it needs to do it. I feel like so long as it fixes the issues that it had when Tekken 7 came out, that being there no tutorial whatsoever, the fact that you had to pay for frame data way later on when it was already available for free on other online resources and everything else, like etc. The list goes on. But I feel like if it were to fix a lot of the issues that Tekken 7 had, and it just looks more for the future of the game itself rather than just in the present, then I feel like Tekken 8 could probably be the best 3D fighter that we've had in like the past 5 to 10 years, which is that's probably saying like a whole lot, and I might be like stepping over bounds for a tiny bit, especially since I don't have a background in the like genre. But I really do feel like if it fixes the issues that Tekken 7 had, which obviously it should because it's Tekken 8, it's had like, however, I think like what, when did Tekken 7 come out? Like, when did it first initially come out? Hold up. Tekken 7 initial release. Yeah, 2015. It's had from 2015 to 2023 to look at all of the issues that it's had across its lifespan and truly get a chance to like really learn and see what went wrong, why those things went wrong, and how they could be improved. So long as that, like, if Harada just does, if he just like thinks everything through, thinks his decisions through, and just like improves a lot more on the game and not just look at it like in a present standpoint, but also in the future, then I feel like he could really benefit a lot from, or I feel like Tekken 8 could really benefit a lot. And I feel like this really could be probably the best 3D fighter that we get in recent times, especially since Tekken games tend to last a good while. Like, like how I just said, like Tekken 7 came out February 18th, 2015. So that's a good like 7 to 8 years right there, from like if my math's right. But Jesus, just the fact that like this game has persisted for that long, like it will sort of stands to show like how much of an influence Tekken has over the FGC, on top of also just like how little competitors or like top tier competitors there are. Because off of the top of my head, I think the only other like 3D fighter game that like really good 3D fighter that I can like think of is probably like Dead or Alive. And I think Dead or Alive was dead on arrival for DOA. I think 6. I don't even remember when the last DOA game dropped. Like the last DOA game dropped, and then I know that there was also Virtual Fighter, but I also don't know what the state of Virtual Fighter is. Man, we need another yo. Give us a new DOA. Give us a new Virtual Fighter. Give us a new Rival Schools. Rival Schools. It's just cool. It's also another really good like 3D fighter, despite me not playing it. But I know that Capcom actually cares about it since they did drop Akira, and also I think they're also happening in the same universe as Street Fighter. But give us new Rival Schools, give us a new DLA, give us a new And Soul Calibur, dude. Oh my, how did I forget about Soul Calibur? Nah, Soul. Okay, yeah. DOA, Soul Calibur, Virtual Fighter, and Rival Schools. Those four games right there. If we can just like sometime within these next like 5 to 10 years, if we can get those four games like new installments, then I would really really like that. I'd enjoy that. Be, I also just man, yo, Soul Calibur. Oh my god, I totally forgot about Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur is such a like cool game. I didn't get obviously like I just said, I'm not really into 3D fighters like that, but Soul Calibur, that game has history. That game is like if Tekken wasn't going to be a pillar for like the 3D standpoint, like after taking on the mantle after Virtual Fighter, then I feel like it was going to be Soul Calibur because like that, whoo boy. That game is a game. But I'm getting off track. I'm getting off track and I'm tangenting. Just I feel like Tekken 8 has a lot of potential. I would like some other things, like for example, because I know I've said this like numerous times. I would like a defensive mechanic of some kind to be linked to the whole game's like new chain system mechanic thing. I really do think it would benefit a lot from having some sort of like defensive mechanic, especially since like just looking at all of the stuff that like just in the past, right? Like really quickly, let's just take a look at like Street Fighter for example and see all of the defensive mechanics that it has, like also integrate or at the very least like in relation to its system. You look at Street Fighter 4, you see focuses which are able to take a hit of armor and then focus attack dash cancel into ultra yada yada. Not really like they're not congenital, I think, whatever. They're not like explicitly linked, but like they still are used in conjunction with each other. You look at Street Fighter 5, and even though it did take a good while, V reversals that still like turn like V reversals are still a thing. They still eventually came out. Like a mechanic interlinked with that game's specific gimmick still did eventually come out. It did take some time, but like still, it did come out. And then now we have Street Fighter 6 with like the drive parry and like the whole perfect drive parries and everything from that. How like the drive impact it takes a good it takes drive impact takes like 3 hits of armor, which I'm not gonna lie, I throughout that entire beta, which I do need to drop beta footage. Well, the game's about to come out in a week, so it doesn't matter. But yo, Drive Impact takes a tiny bit of a beating, and it's also probably just because like I'm really slow on my reactions for it. But like I'll get through like 2 hits, and then I'm like, yo, that should have broke. Nah, and then on top of that, like I'll try and like shore you out. Like if I'm playing like Ken, I'll try and like shore you out, and then they'll somehow react, and I'll be the one that gets punished for it, which is insane. But yeah, I just feel like a some sort of defensive mechanic. A defensive mechanic needs to be implemented into Tekken 8, and after that, just look at everything that Tekken 7, 6, etc., has done over the years, see where they failed, and then where this game could succeed, and then boom, I feel like you honestly have like a phenomenal 3D fighting game, especially since like Tekken 8 or not like Tekken 8, like Mortal Kombat, like Street Fighter 6, game looks gorgeous. The game looks really good. Like I guarantee you, if this game were to lower, when we get footage of this game running on like, or when people eventually like start dropping footage of this game running on like super built NASA computers and whatnot, this game is gonna look gorgeous. Like, and I mean that for like all of the games that I mentioned here. This game is going to look absolutely phenomenal, and I legitimately cannot wait for that. I can't wait for like all the like montages and everything that like I've seen like Tekken 8 players and everything do. I know that there's one in specific. It's not with Yeah, it's not with Yoshimitsu, but it's like some Kunoichi like ninja girl against Noctis, and like I always look at it and I'm like, yo, this is sick. This is really cool. But so like, yo, that would be really cool once the game is actually in the people's hands. and we start getting like crazy amounts of like really good footage and everything. I can't wait for some good ass Tekken, cause that's really gonna change it. That's gonna make a shift in the system, and I legitimately can't wait for that. I'm only gonna be a spectator for it, really, like realistically, but I straight up just can't wait for some good ass Tekken. And like yeah, that's really it. I straight up just feel like some sort of defensive option needs to be implemented into the game in order to really heighten it to that next level. Afterwards, just look at all of the things that happened with Tekken 6, 7, see where those flopped, see where you can improve, continue doing what you're doing with your like your yes characters and everything. Geese, Negan, Noctis, Hello, these are like extremely big heavy hitters, and then boom, you're just set, honestly. And like that's another thing. Like now since Harada is sort of like gone to show, oh yeah, I'm not adding characters just to, appeal to the fans. I'm adding characters because I think it would be cool. I legitimately think like you add some more characters like that, give them a tiny bit more relevancy, like and then the guest characters, honestly, legitimately feel like could rival those of Mortal Kombat, especially with how like just I don't want to say convoluted per se, but like just how absolutely insane working them in can honestly be. Like you're telling me like Akuma was just in the background of the entire Tekken series for like mad long, and he all of a sudden he just pulls up because it's like, all right, yeah, your wife told me that I need to kill you and your son, but I wanted to wait to get strong. Like you're telling me that throughout the entire Tekken lineage that my boy Goken was just in a background, or not Goken, Goki, he was just in a background chilling. Was like, yeah, let me sweeten up the dish a tiny bit, and then he just all of a sudden now starts running Fate. Like, no, that's so cool. And if he somehow makes a return in Tekken 8 with his like SF6 clothing as well, he looks like an old man. That would be crazy. But no, I digress. Like I've said earlier, just keep working, keep doing anything. I honestly feel like I might probably buy Tekken 8 like on launch. We need a beta or like some sort of like beta or something. Um, we get the game in our hands, even if it's a horrendous closed beta, like how Capcom did me and somehow locked me out of both of them, because that was not cool. But give us some sort of closed beta, give us something to work with, and then like I've been reiterating, just work on everything that needs to be worked on, continue pushing forward, continue looking at what the fans want, and obviously not trying to 100% appeal to everything that they want, but like, sprinkle a tiny bit of their needs, sprinkle a tiny bit of corporate needs, sprinkle a tiny bit of what you want to see, and then boom, I honestly feel like you can get a good ass Tekken, and then we can, like, the entire community could get some good ass Tekken in their hands. And then that's really it. So once again, I'm going to be covering Tekken 8 news and everything once that drops. If I'm not mistaken, I think Brian Fury actually just got a trailer. So, oh yeah, Brian Fury and the French girl. I think her name's Lily. Yeah, Brian Fury and Lily. They like recently got trailers not too long ago. I think the Brian Fury one just dropped like recently. I'll link both of those in the yeah, right here. Um, I'll link both of those in the description, so you can check those out for yourselves. I'm not gonna like explicitly talk about it. I said I was gonna slow down on me covering Tekken and everything. I might probably come back and like just oh, let's go and look at all of the Tekken stuff. But yeah, Tekken is just in a really good spot. I honestly just feel like if it learns a tiny bit, Tekken would be in a really good spot, and then we get some good ass Tekken. And that's really it. That's all I can really say.
Round 3.
And last, but certainly not least, you already know my favorite fighting game or like the fighting game that I'm looking most forward towards that I'm gonna be talking about, obviously, Street Fighter 6. This game, I've gone on so many tangents and like everything. I don't even need to talk about Street Fighter 6, but Street Fighter 6, baby, it's in a week. Like, woohoo! Can't you believe it, guys? Street Fighter 6 is in a week. I'm I'm so overjoyed by this. I honestly feel like with the amount of times that I've mentioned Street Fighter 6 on the podcast, I could possibly end the episode right here and then just like go off of all of the stuff that I talked about like in the prior podcast or in the prior episodes and everything, and then boom, that's all you need to know. But nah, honestly, I think I first off I got to play the open beta and I played the demo through. I really didn't want to play the demo through because I was like, oh, it's gonna be a waste of time, and I was kind of right. Like I didn't really get anything out of it because obviously you only play as Luke and Ryu, which I'm not playing either of those characters, and then it's mostly just like the first hour of the World Tour mode. Which, by the way, I'm gonna be doing a YouTube series on the World Tour mode. I have like so much beta footage I didn't even upload. But honestly, it's not even gonna matter because, like I just said, the game's gonna come out. So be on the lookout for when I start that YouTube World Tour series, I guess, because I'm actually looking forward to that. But be or not the beta. The demo was like decent for what it like foretold, and then obviously in normal Capcom fashion, I guess they immediately after dropping the demo, they dropped the beta, played the beta. The beta was nothing more than like the second beta that they dropped, as I was being told by one of my friends who actually did get into both of the betas. But the open beta, yo, those are probably the most fun 3 days I've ever had with a Street Fighter game. And like that's kind of saying a lot because I had a lot of fun playing or I've had a lot of fun playing Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. I'm always talking about that game. But yo, the drive rush system, the drive rush mechanics, like everything, just everything about it is so much fun, and all of the issues that I've sort of had about it were sort of like quelled, and I'm just like I'm really ecstatic for that game to come out. Um, and also funny enough, like something kind of crazy happened. I switched sides. No, I did not start playing a grappler. Because I will never ever play a traditional big body grappler. I depending on your viewpoint, I sort of like did worse. I started playing a zoner, and the zoner of my choosing for right now is Guile, which is insane because I never like charge inputs. I don't like doing charge inputs. I don't like anything about them. But I started playing Guile just like on a whim because I was like, oh, I guarantee you, modern control Guile is going to be super easy since it's just press a button. And then obviously I was wrong because he has his like blade to like the actual neutral and then like the back for a sonic boom. And then I was like, well, if it's like that, I might as well just go and play, regular Guile. And then I started playing regular Guile, and then I'm like, yo, this is I'm kind of cooking a tiny bit. Like I'm in like my little fledgling era, like I'm turtle guiling and everything. But like honestly, I Guile is fun. Guile should not be that much fun. Nobody in this game should be that much fun. The amount of jury stuff that I've been seeing on Twitter that isn't like weirdo things and it's like actual combo videos. Yo, Jury is cracked. Ken is cracked with his new like for like quarter circle forward like kick moves and his DP kick move. Like I'm forgetting the Yo, when I say Jinraichi is by far the most cheater stupid move ever because I'll just loop Jinraichi light into I'll just do like light Jinraichi kick, which for those who don't like or for those who didn't play the demo for or the beta for whatever reason, if you do quarter circle forward kick, Ken does like a little like Rekka style move, and then if you press forward kick or forward light kick, you get a low. Forward medium kick, you get an overhead, and forward heavy kick, you get a mid that is like super minus. But yo, the amount of times I've looped Jinraichi into itself over and over again is so funny because I'll just do light Jinrai into like the low, light Jinrai again into the overhead, and then light Jinrai into the low, and they just every person that I played against, they just don't know which way to block. Because I hit them low, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, he's gonna go low a second time, so I'm gonna like crouch block." No, hit him with the overhead. Okay, he's gonna block. And then they just crumple, and then I just get a combo off of it, and it is so stupid, and I love it so much. Um, my only gripe with like Ken, I guess, since I started talking about Jinrachi, is like Dragon Rush. And it's less of a gripe and more of just a I haven't been able to figure out how to like adequately input it into combos and everything, and like how to like move it in. But his Dragon Run like stuff is really cool because Dragon Run is able to essentially make it to where V like his old V trigger is like on all of his specials except for his fireball, which makes sense. Um, but nah, Ken is so much fun. Ken is so much fun. Guile is so much fun. Jury, I'm slowly starting to understand Jury a tiny bit, or I was starting to slowly understand Jury. I wasn't really getting it all too much, but it's gonna take a bit of practice. It's gonna take some time. So yeah, Jury's probably gonna be like one of, or actually no, Guile is probably gonna be like one of my more weaker characters that I play. And then obviously it's gonna be like probably Jury, Ken, and then Manon. Sadly, Manon, she's not in this beta. It was only the lineup for the second beta, which that's fine, whatever, that's fair. I don't care. Game literally comes out in a week, so I'll be able to play whoever, whenever, anytime that I want, and I'll also be able to like do more of the world tour mode and other things. Yippee! But as it stands right now, Street Fighter. I'm so excited for Street Fighter 6 to be coming out. Like, I've been like a member of the FGC, which makes it sound like I'm in a cult. I've been a part of the FGC since I think like right around the time that Street Fighter 3 like ended and Street Fighter 4 was like slated to come out. I don't know how long. Just know it's been a while. Like I've been in Street Fighter since like the PS2 era, which is like kind of crazy. But Street Fighter or like PS3 or whatever. Just know PS3, Xbox 360, I guess is like where I like really got my start into fighting games, and then I didn't start like playing them. Like you guys know the story. Check the first episode if you want to know like the full background and everything. But just know that like I I'm probably like I'm really excited for this game competitively. And with all of the stuff that's been happening with my other mainstay game, Guilty Gear Strive with Asuka dropping, uh honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, Gear is looking tight key. I'm not gonna drop it per se. I'm still gonna be like a Gear competitor, like at heart. But for as it stands right now, my Gear Evo run is not looking all too much fun, especially if I'm gonna be going up against like Asuka's and Happy Chaos and Axel. Like I just pray on my run, like on my Evo one run, I do not get those three characters, especially a specialist for those three characters, because if I do, I legitimately feel like I'm sort of chopped. Like that's game. But I can completely forgot where I was going with that tangent. Oh no, I'm looking like I'm not gonna like I just said 100% drop Gear, but I'm probably not gonna be all too much invested into it until some news for the third season drops. Please, 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 just give me Dizzy. If not Dizzy, just give me Johnny. Like, there's literally no way you fumble the DLC at this point. You got all of the story characters essentially out the way. You got all like if you want to use models for other characters, give us Dizzy. If you want to like get another fan favorite character, give us Johnny. If you want a fan favorite female character, Elfelt, Jam. There are so many different avenues Strive could go right now in terms of its new, or in terms of like season 3 for its DLC. There's virtually no way that they can screw up. So hopefully Daisuke doesn't screw up. I feel like he didn't screw up with Asuka, but I he's not fun. He's not fun. He doesn't appeal to me. I feel like people that are going to play him are going to be piss baby losers who like zoning. If you wanted to play a zoner, then go play another zoner. But then again, I can't really like talk or complain because Street Fighter 6, I'm literally going to be playing like a zoner. So, I mean, if thankfully it's not like Dawson though, so like it's not crazy. But yo, I'm just excited for Street Fighter 6. I literally can't say anything else. Street Fighter 6, I'm just really looking forward to that game. So look forward and expect content for Street Fighter 6 to come out and like sort of gear take a little bit of a backstage. I'm still gonna like post Daisuke Dissect videos and everything, but like with the time that it takes to actually make those, which like it should not have taken two whole characters to come out, and I'm still not finished with the Sin video. So once again, I apologize on that. Um, but honestly, I'll still try and like upload a Daisuke Dissect video every now and again. But right as it stands right now, Street Fighter 6 is probably gonna be what I focus on for a good while in terms of like content and everything on my channel. I'm probably gonna like post videos of like matches and everything and like just like runs of me playing competitively for whatever character I choose, because thankfully they're going to be separating the character like comp point stuff to be separate from each character. So that's actually really nice. So road to I no, I'm not even gonna say like road to Warlord like Ken or road to Warlord like Manon. But just look forward to the Street Fighter content. Look forward to the Street Fighter content. The rest of the fighting game content I'm going to be dropping. Look forward to me doing a lot of other things, because I'm gonna be making a good amount of a various amount of like varying moves or varying degree of moves in terms of like the new content and everything that's supposed to be dropping. So I implore you guys to stick around, see everything that I'm doing, see what's gonna be happening, and just yeah, pop out and like just like see what's happening and everything. But with that, I think I am going to call it for today's episode of the Fighting Game Follies. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. I really do appreciate it. It really does mean a lot to me. Recommended run back. I don't have any for this week. I said it, or I didn't say it was gonna be like a bi-weekly thing or anything. I'll just drop one whenever I feel like it. But yeah, no like required homework this time around, I guess. Or actually, no, falsehoods. I lied. Recommended run back combo breaker stuff. Um, what combo breaker? They're boomers versus zoomers, skullgirls. I was watching that. I think it's kind of fun. Or it was kind of funny. Audio just cut out for like a good while, which was kind of crazy, or not crazy per se, but like it was just really funny. And I just thought the entire thing was good. So watch that in the description down below. I think more like FT10 like stuff like this where it's like round robin as it's just good content, good gaming, good gameplay. So yeah, recommended run back boomers versus zoomers versus 10 skullgirls. Boom. Watch that. But yeah, everything else that's all I can really say. Thank you guys so much once again for tuning into this week's episode. Socials and everything is down in the description below. I'm not gonna take your ear off any longer. Just you guys know where to find all the stuff. You know where to get all of the or you know where to find everything if you need it. And yeah, that's really it. I'm Griefer Games. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening. I love you. Be sure to like play a fighting game or something, and be on the lookout for Street Fighter 6 when that eventually drops, because that's when it drops. It's going to drop, and the earth is going to shake, and the entire fighting game community is all going to collectively come together. And then like I feel like it's gonna be like I'm going on a little tangent here, but I feel like the drop of SF6 is gonna be like the equivalent of Dragon Ball Fighters dropping, because like that game brought together every community possible, because everybody's a Dragon Ball fan except for me. I despise Dragon Ball, but everybody's a Dragon Ball fan. They all came together, was like, yo, let's all play this anime fighter, and then like everybody played it. It was really good. You had Leffen and Goichi going up, and they had probably one of the hardest sets out there. If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a Tekken player that was playing it on top of that, and then he had like a really good set with another SF player, but I digress. I feel like SF6 is probably going to be like the same level as like that, especially since how like good it is. So yeah, be on the lookout, because when Street Fighter 6 drops, it's going to drop. When it drops hard. It drops heavy. And also be on the lookout for the DLC and everything and whatnot. So yeah, I'm you for games. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode of the Fighting Game Follies, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace and be good.